Disaster is brewing in the policing sector. This as public servants workers, that is, under the SAPS, have taken the employer, Police Minister Bheki Cele, to the bargaining council. This dispute here is over an agreement that was signed for in 2011. This agreement to move some of these workers from under the Public Servants Act to the Policing Act of 1995. They are here arguing that that agreement was signed for in 2011, but it's been about 12 years, and most of them have not seen any movement in this regard. They are calling for the bargaining council to intervene in this regard on a conciliation process to force the hand of the employer, this being Minister Bheki Cele, who was the police commissioner in 2011 when this agreement was signed for, to do good on the workers here who have been calling for 12 years for this process to be implemented. I'm going to bring some of the workers into the conversation now to just give us a sense of the concerns that they are experiencing under the Public Servants Act and why they would like to, as a matter of urgency, move to the Policing Act of 1995. So thank you very much for joining us on the SABC. You are a worker. How will this move from the Public Servants Act to the Policing Act help you as a worker?
Thank you very much. This move will assist us a lot because remember, we are working for the same employer, same department, but different act. And we are exposed in danger, a lot of us. We are also using the very state vehicles, and then others, they are protected in terms of the act because they have some benefit that the PSA members, they don't. So then this act will make sure that there will be a balance and there will be fair labor practice across the board in all employees of SAPS.
All right. Let me bring in May here as well, who's joining us, just to give us a sense of what has been happening. During COVID-19, you were referred to as an essential worker, but here we are seeing government not doing best on that promise in 2011. What has been happening here?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been very nice, and I'm happy for the acknowledgement of the employer, what he did now, because of SPSA members who have never been acknowledged. The acknowledgement was only when they needed us during COVID-19, but because of now, they've seen us. We are very, very, very wanted to be we want the agreement, what they wanted to be acknowledged. We are happy that we are going to be the same like Police Act. And when things were happening, especially when it comes to great progression, PSA members were not being acknowledged, but now we are happy we are going to be in the same standard with the Police Act. Thank you.
All right, let me bring in another employee here of the SAPS just to let us in on what has been happening in this sector. The cost of living has been too high, and we know very well that these benefits here would unlock, this process here would unlock some of those benefits, medical aid, pension fund, and the likes. How important is it that this agreement is seen through?
Thank you. It's very important that this agreement comes to party properly so, because as you said, the cost of living is very high. People can barely afford themselves. The PSA members are struggling, but they are the ones who are actually the backbone of the SAPS. They are being taken for granted on most parts. Like you said, during COVID, they were asked to work, but they weren't given the benefits that they actually deserve. They weren't given the acknowledgement they deserve. Nothing has been considered where the PSA members are concerned. So this is just bad. Right now, petrol has gone up. Taxis are going up. PSA members can barely afford. You can either afford a house or a car, or none of the two. When you have kids, you can't afford either. So now what needs to happen? We need this agreement to actually be realized.
The workers are coming through there to just give us a sense of their concerns around just reneging on this agreement. So the process is continuing. They've threatened indeed that if a government doesn't come through here and more or less make sure that this agreement is taken into consideration for around 2011, from there to now, they're saying that they're looking at taking it to the streets. But more or less, this is a process of conciliation that continues behind closed doors. And this workers saying that if they don't find any joy, they're going to take to the streets or withdraw their labor. Here, we're talking about members of the SAPS that are administrators. We're talking about members of the SAPS that are cleaners. We're talking about those that do gardening, those that are really the backbone of this. About 1,000 stations countrywide that depend on these men and women to just make sure that they function optimally. Katlego, Legodi, SABC News, Centurion.